Tiarre, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, obviously getting started this week with some top competition. Looks like you guys are going to have sort of regular games against some top 10 teams. Got a couple in the Big 12. What does that mean for this team to have those kind of regular times when you're going to have a top 10 type clash?
I would say it's super exciting. It's gonna show how much we've been preparing. So it shows definitely our preparation and kind of more just like it's gonna expose us in some ways and how we grow and learn from them. And also it's gonna show the successes we've had and we can kind of keep that in our back pocket and hopefully save it for down the road. But it's exciting. Getting ready to compete with this team. So yeah, just super exciting.
You guys last year, you threw that mid conference play series against Georgia in doubleheader against Georgia. And then you had, OSU series and in the Big 12. Do you remember from those later in the year games against those teams? I mean, obviously early in the season, everybody's early in the season. You're going to learn stuff. But did those later in the year games, I don't know, carry more weight, or did you walk away thinking, okay, now we really, have a sense of some things? Did that change any of that for you guys?
Not really. I think the mentality kind of stays the same throughout the whole season. You know who exactly we're going to play. Later in the season, I would say it gets maybe a little tougher just because, how many games we've been playing, our bodies, our stress, so preparing in that way. But other than mentality wise, I don't think it has much of a difference, but still the same competition throughout the whole entire year.
Thank you.
Go to Eric Bailey.
Tiarre, you doing okay today? You ready to play some games?
Oh, yes.
Hey, I want to ask you about a teammate, Riley Boone. Can you talk a little bit about Riley, just the move she made from last year to this year, and what do you expect out of her?
Either no matter where she's playing, if she's on the bench, if she's playing, she's definitely our rock, our stone, our energy, positivity girl. You can always hear her no matter what. So I think having her play a role this year is huge. She played a huge role last year. But, expect some big things out of her. But I just know no matter what, if she plays, if she doesn't, or whatever the case is, I know that she'll be that one girl that will always have each other's back and always be the one yelling and screaming and having the most fun. So that's definitely something that we can always count on our Booney girl.
I asked Jocelyn about this last week. Just, she struggled from her freshman to sophomore season, and it's important to just guard against any kind of sophomore slump. Has she talked to you about making that transition from where everything was perfect last year individually and as a team to resetting things and making sure you could maintain that momentum?
Yeah, definitely. Me and Jossie have always had a close bond, even when we played together or on the same organization when we were younger. But she's always been constantly in my ear. Even last year, we've always had a super close bond. But she's been that one person this year, I would say, too, that just telling me to reset. There's no expectations. You don't have to beat it out last year. You don't have to do anything of what you did last year. This year's a completely new season. So don't go out and try and do too much, but I could definitely rely on her because she knows what I've been through and she knows everyone's team has that mentality, but just resetting and just not trying to overdo anything.
Appreciate your time. Good luck this week, okay?
Thank you.
Go to Ryan Chapman.
Hey, Tiarre, I just asked Nicole this, but you, Jada, and Nicole all kind of burst onto the scene last year. Just not your on the field stuff, but off the field goals. Have you seen growth as leaders, as maybe it's not just everything's so new this year? What's that been like for you guys, and how do you hope to impact the team that way this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think last year we did a lot of learning. We learned from, Nicole Mendez. We learned from Grace Lyons. Whoever we had that person, Nicole had G. Juarez and Shannon. So I think learning from the older girls. This year it's a little different because, we're not too much older. We're only a year ahead, but we've been doing a lot of teaching. I think Jada's been helping the outfielders, working with the freshmen, Hannah Core out there, working with Taria, and I think me helping the infielders. So I think we're definitely getting into a little bit of teaching, not like bossing each other around, but just helping there, being there for how I always had Jossie, right next to me. I want to be that person for somebody else who's coming in. So just being that person for other people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go to Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Tiarre, along the lines of something you said, answering Eric's question. How do you guard against, chasing the success, the numbers that you put up last year, maybe outside of just being mindful of not getting complacent, and also in your offensive game, anything in particular that you focused on this offseason to try to improve?
I would say, last year was a blessing and everything I did was great, but I kind of just leaving it in the past. And this year I'm just resetting. That pressure is nothing on my shoulders that's telling me I have to beat what I did last year. Because for me, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm helping my team win, that's all I care about. But I would say just offensively, just continue working on my game, reps mentality wise. I think I learned a lot last year of what pitchers would throw to me and all that stuff. So I think kind of diving deeper into game plan and what can they throw me, and just being a lot more relaxed and keep playing chess and not falling into playing checkers.
And then also wanted to ask you about Jocelyn and her presence in the locker room, in the clubhouse, everywhere. What's maybe the biggest thing about, outside of just the numbers and obviously the records that she's chasing, things like that, the biggest thing about having her around as a teammate, as a friend, everything?
I would say Jossie's the most realist person I know. If I'm not having a good day, she would come up to me like, hey, I know it wasn't your best day, but I got you. She's always real, no matter what. I think it's the best thing I've learned about her is, she hits one of the farthest balls I've ever hit, but she's also just there for you as a person and as a friend. Always checking in on me. How am I doing? Stuff like that. So I would say she's just super real, super cool to be around, keeps it loose, and she's definitely a very good vibe to hang around with on the team.
I really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend and this season.
Thank you.
We'll go Joey Helmer.
Hi, Tiarre. It's good to see you.
You too.
Hey, I just want to ask you about your pitching staff, Jordy and Hope, and just what it's been like facing them in the preseason here, and what can you kind of tell us about them?
For me personally, I'm ready to not face them anymore. They're legit. They're not even just their pitching, but their mindset. They fit in perfectly to the squad. I'm excited for what they're doing to them. And the best thing is playing behind them. I'm just excited to finally see them go against other people. And so definitely to be around them, to play behind them and to have their back like we did last year. So definitely super excited, especially not to face them anymore.
Go last one, Joe Bettner.
I'm just curious, you talk about the mindset of, just kind of putting, looking to the season, taking it one step, one game at a time. And I'm curious, just you have one of the best coaches in softball who's won championships. And I think from the outside, I think people might think it might be a strict business-like attitude, but then you go on TikTok and Jada Coleman's on your For You page pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's loose. It's fun. At the end of the day, coach is really huge on kind of not even just being a softball player, but as we are as women. So I think on the field, we do our business, and off the field, we're just girls who are super close to one another and doing TikToks and dancing and having Boone and Jada in the circle and all that. So I think that's what brings our team together the most, is just how fun we are, how relaxed we are. Then we get on the softball field and gladiators. So
What was that a shock to you when you arrived at OU? I mean, I'm assuming there might have been nerves that I need to be serious. I need to be, just kind of follow what's said. I mean, how do you fall into, I guess, maybe that, not comfort, but just that loose, those times where, the locker room is loose, but then when it's time to be serious, then it's time to be serious.
yeah, I think kind of goes in, you kind of get the vibe as soon as you get here. I mean, you're obviously, you're coming in here to compete for a national championship. Obviously, that's the number one goal. And then with that comes all the fun, comes all the bonding, comes all the good teammates. So you kind of know, it's just kind of a feeling you have. It's kind of hard to explain, but just being here, I just love that we compete for a national championship, get our work done, and then off the field, we're each other's best friends and do everything together.
Thank you so much.
Looks like we have one more, Jason.
Hey, Tiarre. I know you and Nicole kind of mentioned how at the beginning of the season was kind of a reset. Kind of curious as to what you've kind of seen from Nicole, but also in the perspective of yourself, what you're kind of looking forward to individually this season.
Yeah, I would say obviously the goal doesn't change. Winning national championships are end goal, but just kind of just competing every day individually. I guess my goal will just kind of be like doing everything I can to help this team win. Individual stats, I'm not too worried about myself. I'm not trying to beat anything. I'm not trying to set anything. I'm just trying to play the game with the people I love right next to me and kind of making each other better and competing, getting after it, and then hopefully getting to compete for another national championship. So that goal never changes.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's I have one actually real quick. So this weekend, the Mark Campbell Invitational, obviously the inaugural one. And if I'm not mistaken, you played under him for the Bat Busters, correct? So
Yes.
if you could just kind of talk about him real quick and, kind of what he meant to you and what this tournament means to you.
Yeah, me and Mark Campbell had definitely a super, super close bond. I played with him in my 14U. He definitely was one of the most influential coaches I've ever played for. I think my peaking point was definitely with him, and it's because of the expectations he set for me and how much he pushed me and grinded me. It's almost like he's the male version of Coach Gasso. And that's the one thing I loved about him. And he was just great. One of the most father figures in my life. And I think I'm just so honored and blessed that Coach Gasso was able to see that and all the players she recruits and able to do this for him. So I'm super excited. I'm super honored. And there's a lot of Bat Busters going to be there this weekend. So it's going to be cool for us to be playing at that field where our travel ball days and glory lives. So it's going to be cool. But just super excited. And he was such an awesome person.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Thanks, Tia.
Thank you.